There is a moment so quiet that most people miss it, a moment without shouting, without confrontation, without drama, and yet it is the moment everything collapses. It happens when the empath stops explaining, stops chasing, stops bleeding out loud. Have you ever noticed how silence can feel heavier than anger? How the absence of reaction can terrify more than resistance? This is where the story truly begins. For a long time, the empath lived like an open door in a storm, absorbing emotions, justifying cruelty, translating pain into patience. They believed love meant endurance. They believed understanding could heal anything. And so they stayed, even as their boundaries dissolved, even as their energy was quietly consumed. Carl Jung once warned that what we fail to confront in ourselves will meet us as fate. The narcissist never confronted their inner emptiness. Instead, they fed it with attention, admiration, control. The empath became the mirror, reflecting worth back to someone who had none of their own. At first, the narcissist does not notice the change. They assume the empath will return as always. They assume silence is just another phase, another pause before forgiveness. But then something feels wrong. The empath no longer reacts to provocation, no longer flinches at subtle insults, no longer explains their pain in carefully chosen words. And this is when confusion appears. The narcissist tests the old buttons. They provoke, withdraw, charm, devalue, yet nothing lands. The emotional supply they once extracted so effortlessly no longer flows. The empath's energy has turned inward, no longer leaking outward to be harvested. Jung would call this the moment the shadow is exposed. The narcissist begins to feel something unfamiliar, irrelevance, not hatred, not revenge, but invisibility. And invisibility is unbearable to someone whose identity depends on being reflected in another's emotional response. The empath has crossed a psychological threshold. Not because they became cold, but because they became whole. They stopped seeking validation from someone incapable of giving it. They reclaimed their inner territory. This is when panic sets in. The narcissist senses a loss of control but cannot name it. They may escalate, love bomb, or rewrite history. They may accuse the empath of changing, of becoming selfish, distant, cruel. But beneath every accusation is a confession. You no longer feed what is empty in me. Jung believed individuation begins when a person withdraws projections and faces themselves. The empath has done exactly that. They are no longer projecting goodness onto someone who refuses to grow. They are no longer mistaking potential for reality. And here lies the cruel irony. The narcissist realizes the empath has changed only when it is too late, when access is gone, when emotional influence has dissolved, when the empath's calm feels like a locked door rather than an invitation. There is no dramatic goodbye, no final argument, no victory speech, just a quiet absence where control once lived. This is not revenge. This is psychological freedom. If this resonates with you, pause for a moment, breathe. And if you want more reflections like this, stay with this channel. Because the final truth is this: the moment the empath stops caring is not the moment they become weak. It is the moment they become untouchable.